of this show and these people's experience.
Yep, I agree. So that's it, man. I don't know what's going on with Rick at the Wall. I'm not sure if he's happy to be here looking at this but
yeah,
I could see that. I could also see, well, I'm gonna fucking take this place. I don't know. I don't know what's going through Rick's head at the end of this.
I miss zombies.
Maybe, yeah. So we have an ad this week, and this is from a company that I really like. It's Harry's.com. They are a monthly shave club type deal where you basically say, hey, I want X many razors, X many shaving creams, and they'll send that to you on a monthly supply, bi-monthly, whatever you need.
And I have to recuse myself because a razor has not touched his face for nigh on 3 years.
Yeah, you're looking like Rick over there.
Oh, I put Rick to shame.
You do, frankly.
Rick wishes he looked like me.
Yeah, but me, I like to stay mostly dolphin smooth, and so I do use this product. I really like these razors. Like I was a Fusion guy, a Gillette Fusion guy for a long time, and those were pretty good. And then I switched over to another company with like the dual blade razors. Hated them. Harry's comes with 4 razors, 4 blades in their razor. Really, really enjoying like their shaving cream and their razors. The presentation is great on these. So when you go in and you look at the box, it's like all nicely packaged and it looks like they put some thought into it and really like care about this stuff. So I've been super happy with them. Right now, they're offering a deal for you guys. So if you go in and you go to harrys.com, HARRYS.com, use the promo code BALDMOVE, you get $5 off your order.
Wow.
So, yeah, so right now is a good time to do
And I said I recuse myself, but I got to say, your cheeks as smooth as baby Judith's butt, and you smell real nice.
It's getting creepy in here, so that's the end of the ad.
From one man to another, you smell really nice.
Yeah, I got to leave. So harrys.com, use the promo code BALDMOVE, get $5 off. What do we have for feedback?
A lot. Rachel A. said in your episode, this is the only one I culled from previous episodes, but she goes, in your episode on the distance, Aaron expressed disbelief that you could find a Hawaii plate on the East Coast. Personal anecdote incoming. I moved from Hawaii to Columbus, Ohio back in October, and we shipped our car. I'm lazy as fuck and haven't switched our plates out yet, so I'm still driving with Hawaii plates in Ohio.
So we know there's one.
Yeah, we know there is one. You'd be surprised how many people move from Hawaii back to the mainland and ship their cars. It's actually a fairly big business. Lots of people move out to Hawaii, but only last a year or so and wind up moving back home. Plus, there are a ton of military families who move around and have their cars shipped from Hawaii, which has a bunch of military bases. I guess my point is that it's probably pretty rare, but I wouldn't be shocked to find a Hawaii plate near D.C.
And that's our point. It's really rare.
It's really rare.
And the further east you go, the more rare it is.
I don't know that that's true.
I think
with
that's
the
true.
Military base and people just moving things. Like
military
so
bases, maybe, but
my gut tells me that shipping a car from Hawaii is the expense. That once you get into the United States, it's only a couple $100 more.
Yeah, I'm not arguing expense. I'm arguing the mix of culture and people there between like California and Hawaii is much greater than the mix on the East Coast.
Okay. Well, we got one in Ohio.
One.
So in the zombie apocalypse, we're going to be looking for your car, Rachel.
Yep.
We got
whether you're alive or not, we're coming at you.
We'll have our Apache hovering just over the horizon, scoping out those Hawaii plates.
Don't forget, we've got that.
Jeremy R. says, the thing that sticks out the most to me is the walkers with the dubs on their foreheads.
Yeah.
I didn't think that much of it at first until I saw Jesse's son place the A stamp on Rick's hand. My mind traveled back to Deanna saying they exiled 3 people. His theory is the wolves are those people, and the W is a fuck you to Alexander, saying if the living don't want us, the dead are our people. That is an interesting take, that just like the little kid is marking A's on people, they're marking W's.
All right. I like it.
I like it too.
What is the W? World? This is the world?
Wolves.
Well, yeah. But what is Alexandria? It's the place that they're in. It's not the name of the people.
It's the wolves. They're using wolves like sleeping bags out there, like alpacas.
Right. Yep.
So many alpacas.
Like guile suits.
Nick Gibbs said the amount of foreshadowing the unknown wolf group of the unknown wolf group in this episode was crazy. For Rick, Carol, and Daryl, first Rick, Carol, and Daryl see the walker with the W brand. Rick then tells Deanna that a hostile group could simply walk up the supports and over the wall. And the cherry on top was the full moon shown prior to the party. They might have well
Was
sampled
that Abraham?
They might have well sampled a lone wolf howling at that point. I was so ready for a hostile assault from the wolves while all the Alexandrians were chatting around about first world problems. They could have given Rick's group the chance to save the day and show how misguided they really are, begin to assume command. Point being, Deanna said that she would post Spencer in the clock tower immediately, but then we see him posted as a hostess at their local Chili's. Her ignoring the suggestion shows her inability to properly defend Alexander while Rick's group saves the sheep from the wolves and becomes their shepherd. Thoughts? That seems like a pretty concise plot synopsis of what might happen in the next 3 episodes.
That sheep's from the wolves thing is interesting.
Because they're treating them like they haven't used a word, but their attitude screams like crazy YouTube conspiracy theory sheeple.
Yeah.
A bunch of sheeple behind these walls. They don't know how the real world works.
Sure. And I mean, we saw, I don't know, a ram or a sheep or a goat or something out there. The
Olivia's wearing a wool sweater.
Okay. It's gone too far now. Next email.
Our buddy Yardley from Talking About the Walker podcast,
cool.
Which we did a little season preview with before this season 5B, said, overall thought this is a solid episode. I wonder how many people who were outraged at Lori for sleeping with Shane after thinking Rick was dead will be outraged at Rick for putting the moves on a married woman. I think there'll definitely be a double standard in the outrage department. It also seems that Rick is taking on some of the attributes of the villains they've encountered over the course of the show.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Double standard, my ass.
Okay.
Lori had no idea whether Rick was dead. And it was like a week.
Yeah.
A week, and she's in the sack with Shane. Rick has gone like a year now, knowing for a fact that she is dead. He's got license.
Are you calling Lori a whore?
I called her that in season 2, so sure, why not? Right, there's a huge difference here. Huge. Knowing for a fact that your spouse is dead.
Yes, Rick is worse, is what you're saying.
No, as far as the adultery scale goes,
Lori and Shane shacking up several weeks after Rick goes missing in a zombie apocalypse is morally defensible. Rick reaching for his gun when he sees a couple walking down the street is okay.
No, I think
I think
Lori jumped into
that.
Lori jumped into that bed way too soon.
I don't think it's an inhuman reaction, though.
Yeah, maybe not.
I think Rick's action is kind of the definition of inhuman.
Give it a little time. Give it a little time, Lori.
Okay. Well, there you go, Yardley. You're getting it right here from this podcast. Unbelievable. It also seems that Rick is taking on some attributes of the villains they've encountered over the course of the show. And remember, Rick spoke on the potential of maybe having to take Alexander if things didn't work out, which is kind of a Governor-esque point of view. In this episode, we see Rick grabbing for the pistol he had in his waistband when Jesse walked by with her husband, which seemed to mirror the moment in Season 2 when Shane was considering killing him in the woods over Lori. It's actually Season 1 where he pulls the shotgun and pretend murders him. I think it's official that Sasha is the remix version of Andrea from this point in the comics.
Oh, is that a spoiler?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because Andrea's dead. Yeah. And she's the sniper of the group, so
yeah, that's
Sasha's
exactly
now
what
the
I was
sniper
thinking.
of the group.
Yeah,
I heard your show on episode 9, what happened to and what's going on, and you were wondering what Kente and I thought of Tyrese being killed off. We'll miss him as much as we miss rocks in our shoes. Peace. So there we go.
Yeah,
I kind of thought that
they didn't care that much for Tyrese.
Not a big fan of Tyrese.
Nope,
Tyrese too soft. But then, yeah, thanks for emailing in, Yardley. Hope you guys are having a good time with this season because we're kind of digging it.
It's turned itself around. I mean, granted, it took 3 or 4 episodes to get to.
And what scares me is this could be like some special confluence of events, and they could turn it around just as quickly.
Yeah.
But Alexander seems to be the salve for what's ailing him.
I hope so.
Max from Winnipeg says, "Do you guys see the street name in the last scene with Rick? It was Morgan Street. Bum bum bum.
Yeah.
First and many to point that out. Is that just an Easter egg, or is that foreshadowing?" I mean, if we don't...
foreshadowing, they've shown the goddamn character. What more foreshadowing do you need?
They're shadowing.
He's following them on a fucking map with a line drawn to where they're going. What do you want?
What do you say if we get to 516, no Morgan? Do you say bullshit? Do you think that's a possibility that we don't see Morgan?
I definitely think it's a possibility. I think as far as what I've heard of the timeline, he's months behind him, right? So they would have to be in this community for at least a couple of months.
Yeah, but they had to walk the last like 50 miles because
That's right.
they can't find an
And
abandoned
Morgan
car.
can fly, so we know.
He can.
I could see him coming back
He's
in
a Wendigo.
the final episode. Yeah.
Adam J said, when Daryl was taken into the garage and looks under the tarp, I couldn't help but secretly hope to hear one thing. Gosh, you're big. You're so big.
Oh my God.
Goodness, look at you. Fill me up, Chandler. Put it in me.
Oh, that's extra disturbing with Chandler Riggs on the set.
Little Better Call Saul there in your Walking Dead analysis.
Yep.
Thanks, Adam. Osen W said, is it really a W on the Walker's forehead or is it an M?
Oh
M as in
my
Morgan?
God. Oh my God.
Morgan confirmed.
Yep.
516,
Yep.
He's coming. He's going to be at the he's going to be at the gates writing a C of M carved
Surfing him down the
zombies. He's going to be like Cyrus from 300, or is it Xerxes? Yeah.
yeah.
He's going to be riding a throne powered by zombies, all carved with M's on their heads.
All right. Good stuff.
Megan P said, we've learned that Daryl didn't have the greatest upbringing. His understanding of familiar relationships is quite warped, to say the least. He was literally following Merle down a path that led to watching his brother almost get shot over a TV show. Then, wham bam, the end of the world happens, and Daryl was given a chance to be someone new and reinvent himself. Daryl takes this opportunity to become a group member that is dependable and irreplaceable, which leads to him building relationships with the group members. At this point, Daryl's past issues come smacking him right back in the face. Let me expand. His relationship with Doodlebug. I never got a love interest feel from either of them, more of a big brother, little sister feel, which has Daryl questioning everything he knows about how to interact with her. This comes to light when Daryl and Beth are in the house, downing white lightning like it's water, and he loses it. He starts to yell at her and force her to shoot his bow. Whoa, boy. At that moment, Beth forces him to recognize his feelings of brotherly love for her when she says that he will be the last one standing. He wants to be a good, quote-unquote, big brother to Beth, but he doesn't know how. When Beth is taken and Daryl doesn't get a chance to fix what he inadvertently broke, while going on a crazed hunt to rescue her and their relationship, he discovers a book to help at the shelter. The act of picking up that book and packing away shows that Daryl wants to work on this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So far, so good, except for I definitely got more than brother and sister relationship out of Daryl and Beth. But then she moves on to Carol. Carol represents a big sister to Daryl who gives him love, guidance, and unyielding acceptance and support. This obviously boggles poor Daryl's mind because of all of these things are what he wants, but he mistrusts them. After Beth and the hospital ending, Daryl does what many people with an abusive past do when hit with a massive loss. They retreat. Carol, who understands him on such a level, knows when to push and when to be quiet and just be there while Daryl works through his feelings in a semi-positive way, subtracting the cigarette burns. So when Carol rolls up in her pre-zombie get-up in Alexandria, Daryl's left to wonder where he fits in. And this is her theory on why Daryl is having problems adjusting to life in Alexandria.
Okay.
Unresolved issues with both Beth and Carol.
And Merle, yeah, obviously.
And Merle.
Sure. I can get behind that, and I like how she points out, the exact parallels
The
there.
thing that bothers me is that I buy that Daryl has more of a brother-sister relationship with Carol. I think that Carol wants, big sisters don't fucking sexually flirt with their younger brothers. And I also don't buy the analysis of Carol or Beth and Daryl being just friends.
Okay.
I mean, it never got beyond that, but I felt like it was on a trajectory to do so.
I thought so at the time too, and without going back and watching it again, I'd have to say that I still think that.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm kind of on your side there. The Carol stuff though, it felt like any kind of sexuality that came from that was on Carol's end always.
Yeah.
I never felt any of that from Daryl.
No.
And they've said, so they've left Daryl's sexuality ambiguous on purpose.
Sure.
And they said that at some point they're going to address it. I wonder if that's going to come into play with Aaron at all.
Yeah, because we've talked about him being asexual. We've talked about him being just, heteroflexible. I kind of thought that too. There's a couple people that emailed that, and I didn't consider them because I don't think they were giving.
Because you're scared.
No, I
Ron,
don't
you're
think the
scared.
people emailing us were considering it with the seriousness with which the concept deserves. Let's put it that way. But yeah, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I've always had that in the back of my head saying they're going to deal with this at some point. When is
Sure.
it going to happen? Because it's been a long time. They were saying that in season 3. So it's got to happen sooner or later.
William I has a good point about Sasha's outburst. I totally agree with her reaction, but I can't understand why anyone in the town would put her in that situation, which is what I was trying to articulate and failing with my flailings of Downton Abbey. They've clearly established that there is a lot of experience bringing new people into the community. Aaron has demonstrated procedures for learning about people with the listening device, how to gain their trust, about how to transport them to Alexandria, and so on and so on. So new people being brought in shouldn't have been an unfamiliar experience. Why, oh God, why is Martha Stewart here trying to give Sasha the full court press on her favorite fucking food? Not trying to befriend her with a comforting presence, not trying to let Sasha proceed at her own pace, comfortable for her, not even recognizing on her face a projection of someone who doesn't give a shit about your goddamn book club and is just in pain just being there. I bet most of the outcasts were fucking happy to get away from this passive-aggressive bullshit. I totally agree. This seemed extremely tone deaf and something that Deanna, who is supposedly good at reading people, should have picked up on before she invited them all to this massive town-wide mixer.
Yeah, especially when Sasha's got the crazy eyes coming to her saying, I want to be a sniper.
Yes. Yes. I want to see the lights in her eyes go out when I shoot them.
One shot, one kill.
He continues, I found it interesting how everyone was bashing poor Miss Niedermeyer about her inane ramblings of pasta maker with their very own inane ramblings about Miss Niedermeyer. It's the circle of life. True.
Yeah.
True. Hey, here's a treat. Professional podcast critic Daniel W.B.
All right.
makes the semi-rare once per season appearance. Here's his proclamation. Have to call bullshit on another fraudulent Hollywood portrayal of an architect. No way that guy shares any credit for the construction of his wall.
Wait. Oh, okay. All right.
Additionally, I found that Carol breaking and entering a bit bogus as well. She goes full on calculating secret agent, but an 8-year-old kid somehow gets to drop on her. She could have come up with a story about a chocolate chip addiction rather than turn the kid into a born again bedwetter.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing that was weird about it and why Carol went so dark so immediately.
Yeah.
That freaked me out, man.
They seem to be catching up to comics faster than Game of Thrones, stepping on George R.R. Any concerns? I think they're in the mid-60s, early 70s, comic book-wise, and they're like at 135-ish, 140-ish. So no, not really. It just feels...
Yeah.
It feels like they're catching up hot in the heels because they're actually doing things and advancing the plot more so than they've done, arguably, in the last season and a half. I mean, I think that's a true statement. Since being exiled from the prison...
Well, they did Terminus, which was quick. They went through Terminus fast.
But it didn't really move the plot forward.
No, you're right. You're right. It didn't.
It was entertaining enough diversion.
It did a little bit, like, it makes them even more scared of people outside.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, it's a kind of throwaway. But
no, I'm not concerned. I'm honestly hoping that they, can kind of there's so much more story to tell in this back. I guess this is the back half of Walking Dead, where I find it was much more interesting than the previous half of Walking Dead. So, I'm not concerned. Okay. I think that 12 issues a year, they can easily. I mean, they're 5-6 years away from catching up to current if they play their cards right.
Yeah.
Fernanda W/V said, I love the last scene where Rick is pictured across the wall from a walker, and you can see the animal trying to get into the place where the human is, or basically where they are a mirrored version of one another, or something like this. And she apologized because her English is not her first language, which you never have. English is my first language. I butcher it all the time. This is the wrong podcast to come feeling sorry for one's lack of mastery of the English language. So she's basically, I think, trying to communicate the fact that it's kind of like the zoo. You're staring at an animal behind bars, and you are a person on the outside, and are you the caged animal? Do you feel more affinity to this zombie outside?
You have a way more introspective view when you go to the zoo than I do. If you're thinking deep thoughts, I'm just like, oh, cool, a bear.
Yeah. No, I mean, but I feel there's a little bit of that with Rick, that he kind of feels more kinship with the zombie than he does to the people here in Alexandria?
Yeah, like I said, I'm puzzled about what that last scene means. I got to think about it some more.
All right. Moving on to Tom from Pittsburgh said Carol's scene with the Cookie Kid was by far my favorite. The lighting on her reminded me of every Disney movie where the evil queen / evil woman makes her ultimate intentions known.
Did they light her from beneath?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think that's because...
That's how it works, yeah.
Because, like, wasn't the freezer open and there's a light in the freezer?
Maybe so.
There might have been a good reason for that.
Or the window is kind of low in that building.
It worked well, and he also notes that the way her hair was highlighted, it looked like she had devil horns.
Okay.
So she's Maleficent.
Sure.
I like Carol as Maleficent.
That is a lighting technique that tends to do that, though. If you light someone from the bottom, it's very unnatural lighting.
Yeah, we did that on the Halloween episode of the Lunch of Jim and Aaron.
And that's why people do that, because it's just so unnatural and weird. Sure. It throws people off.
The sun is in the sky.
Exactly.
The lights are in the sky.
Yeah. So that's basically what they're trying to do anytime you see someone lit from below.
Molly says, it occurs to me that all the characters that Carol has changed the most, or out of all the characters, Carol has changed the most and Daryl has changed the least. Carol's gone from victimized to hero, and after forget, possibly to victimizer. Her constant may be a survivor theme, but I was wondering what becoming Scarol will do to her.
Scarol.
I like that.
Uh-huh.
That's good. That's good, Molly. Also, we wondered what her final transformation was going to be.
Mm-hmm. Child threatener.
Scarol. She went from Scrambo to Scarol. Killing Lizzie had some impact on her, but she seems completely fine in awesome fashion with giving Cookie Boy eternal nightmares. However, Daryl, on the other hand, doesn't seem to have changed much at all. He was in his own world before, and people were forced into it. Now that former normals, that's a hard one to say. It's like a rural juror. Former normals want to go back in a civilized society. They seem to be exiting this world again. He's also somewhat lost without an older brother figure. He was second to Merle, then to Rick, and now that Michonne has been deputized with that position, he is floundering. And last episode until Aaron comes to take the mantle. I agree. Daryl seems to need to be a second banana.
Well, he got his wish. He's going to be Aaron's second banana.
Third banana, arguably.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't go there.
There's no... Well, we talk about the Meacham Threecham, but we can't have a Daryl sandwich. Is that what you're saying?
No, I guess you can have a Daryl sandwich. Yeah, why not?
George S. said, I want to give you a note to tell you guys a story that reminded me of Sasha's outbreak at Deanna's party. I am a U.S. Army veteran, and I've served in Operation Enduring Freedom, and I don't know what the OIF is, and I've spent most of that time in a 50-man tent with 140-degree weather, camel spiders, incoming mortars, and air raid sirens. We lived in questionable conditions, but we didn't mind because we survived and suffered together. Most veterans get 2 weeks off in between active tour to return home to their families before finishing the tour itself, which could last anywhere from 12 to 16 months. I was 9 months into a 12-month tour in Iraq when I was selected to take leave early. I packed up all my duffel bags, brushed the mountains of sand off the rest of my gear, and spent the next week waiting for a flight back home. Thinking of just seeing my family made each day easier to get through, but on the last day, I heard something that made me flip my lid. It was an exceptionally hot day, and we'd taken some mortar fire earlier, but I was able to get online and use the internet to Skype with my family. I was also always careful not to worry them, so I asked them what they were up to on that side. Have you heard what happened? It's horrible. Everyone here is talking about it, my mom said. I asked what happened in a somber voice. She replied, Taylor Swift was going up for an award and Kanye West got up and stole the moment from her. I felt so bad. Everyone is worried. The poor girl. For her, I yelled. Bad for her?
Yeah.
Is that what you people back home are worried about? The next celebrity? There's a war going on and people are dying and anyone can talk about is what's on MTV? I was angry, but more sad and disappointed that people were going out of their way to ignore the ugliness of war. It felt like the body count and casualties were things that regular people didn't want to bother with. I've since calmed down about the matter, but seeing Sasha flip out at the intentional ignorance of the Alexandria citizens hit very much home for me, and it was very well done. First of all, thank you, George, for your service. And I mean, I totally got her motivation, but that is a great example of how fucking pointless people can get.
Yeah.
Hell, I don't care about Kanye snatching shit from Taylor West. I'm not in the middle of his war zone. It's like, okay, whatever.
At least dinner's important.
Yeah.
At least dinner's important. Come on. Taylor Swift, who gives a fuck?
Yeah. Like, yeah, food can put, in your belly and make you live.
That's
Taylor
what it's
Swift
for.
is like, sure, she can write a fine song, and Kanye
Tanya.
can craft a fine beat, but who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for the story. Moving on, Mr. Rock and Rock. He said he had a problem with what he calls not the cold open, but the tepid opening. When watching the Sasha-centric cold open, my feelings went from okay, we get it, to wait a minute, I don't get it. When I thought about it and had a chance to rewatch it, here's what I could make out. She's still haunted by her recent losses. Then she pulls a dick move, taking other folks' family portraits and busting them up all Tony Montana style. Tana style, I guess. At least that's what I thought they were. The fact that the portraits grace Sasha's now empty house suggests that they were of previous residents, and all of them are worm/zombie food by now. If that's the case, why would the welcoming committee leave them there? That's like renting an apartment to someone with the previous resident's chalk outline still on the floor. But whatever, this is The Walking Dead. I suppose the pictures represent ghosts, and this whole scene was Sasha's way of exorcising them. That she remained freaked out and completed the ritual means the exorcism didn't take out. Still, whatever it's supposed to mean, I didn't find it worthy of a cold open.
Yeah, I'm mostly with you. Maybe.
We had a different
maybe
take.
those were ghosts, but either way, yeah, it doesn't work. She is not getting any kind of catharsis from this.
I thought that a lot of these houses are unsold houses, and they have just like stock
Yeah, that's
imagery
what I thought
and
too.
stock furniture, and like it's really interesting that Aaron and Eric's house still have like the for sale sign.
Yeah,
Tacked up in the
under
windows.
contract or something. They say.
Which I'm like, I feel like if you had guys move into a house within 6 months, you'd have gotten around to taking the stickers off the window.
You'd think so, yeah.
But apparently not. They got other things to do, like obsess over dinners and chocolate bars and that kind of stuff.
Make shitty spaghetti.
Arsenal security. So Olivia is keeper of arms. I understand this is a community of the unprepared, but all anyone needs to do to check out weapons is a story about what boss lady wants, or a desire to do some target practice, or a whimsical desire for some crack of dawn boar hunting by a person who is obviously unstable, quietly belligerent, and completely new to community.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of arsenal security, why exactly did Carol steal the guns? I thought it was our gang, so our gang could be armed within the walls after check-in time for the registered ones. So after she stole them, why did she sneak them back out and divvy them outside the walls? If they're to be stashed outside, that would have made sense, but Rick clearly smuggled his back in. It made no sense. He has a fine point here.
He's right. Carol could have just walked in and said, I need chocolate and guns. What for? Oh, I'm making a cake. Okay, here's your guns.
Sure.
That's what Sasha did.
Sure. Yeah, I don't get it.
And the gun smuggling stuff. I don't know, the inside the wall, outside the wall. I
feel like that dilapidated trailer park is the designated I hate Alexandria, or an Alexandria hater zone. That's where the clubhouse meets.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But
Enid's gonna be there soon.
You know what? We didn't see anything of Enid this episode.
Didn't. She's dead.
Too many cooks. I wonder if they are going to find out that she is overhearing these people's. Because that was one of our big theories last week, is that Enid's the one that stole the gun.
Yeah.
Enid's hanging around in these abandoned houses. Enid could have overheard all these conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And these conversations would make Rick look horrifying.
Yeah.
Topher T said, I think Carol might still try to find a way to make the child go missing, as her threat doesn't guarantee that he won't eventually say anything.
God.
Solid point.
Yeah,
she's because you don't think... We kind of glossed over this, but what's the end game here? Sam has the shit scared out from him. He comes back from the party and he's quiet and withdrawn and doesn't want to sleep by himself.
They go home that night. Yeah, they tuck him in. He has nightmares, wakes up screaming.
Yeah.
What's wrong, Sam? What's wrong?
Yeah.
I can't talk about it.
Yeah. Carol said she'd kill me if I did. Like, there's not, it was an awesome scene, but I don't know if it's the best way to play it.
Yeah, that's fair.
She's taken drastic precautions before. True. And now that they've sneaked the guns out, she might be more inclined to do so. I'm surprised she wasn't shown mentioning it to Rick and Daryl, which I imagine would have convinced them to return the guns in case of keeping an inventory, which would be the only logical thing in a storage room.
Yeah.
One of the cool things about this season, this half season, is the playing with Rick as the bad guys.
Yeah.
Rick as the governor. What if Rick has to put Carol down?
Look at the flowers, Carol.
Yeah. Or banishment part 2.
Yeah, it could be man, if she gets double banished, she needs to give up on communities.
Double banished. Well, she kind of brings it on herself, though, right?
She does. That's the thing. She needs to just
killing
stop.
sick people and dragging them outside and burning them is extreme. Threatening a child with tying them to a tree and leaving them for zombie food, also extreme.
Yeah.
Tim from Melbourne. Has Carol becomes a psychopath by the standards of normal pre-zombie apocalypse world? What do you think, man?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. What's your definition of psychopath?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I've had relatives scare me in similar fashion, and it was just considered good, clean fun. So I get it that we're in the 21st century, and kids are put on pedestals and whatnot. But in the context of the zombie apocalypse, this is essentially old Nan, Game of Thrones, Sweet Summer Child shit.
Yeah, I feel like it's also a little different when, like,
she's also planning the violent overthrow of the community. You can't forget that.
Sure, there's that, but also this is not her kid or even her brother or sister's kid. Like, this isn't family. This is just some kid.
Well, I mean, that's the other thing.
She's walking up and threatening the shit out of him.
Right. But on the other hand, she killed. Was it not Leslie?
Lizzie.
She killed Lizzie, and Lizzie violently killed Mika. And then was it Patrick in the showers that got killed? I mean, she's seen a lot of violence around children. Like, little baby ass kicker almost had her neck snapped a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Carl almost got raped at the end of last season. She's essentially just putting the fear of God into this kid.
No, you're right.
From her perspective, I think that this is just, Carl would hear this and not even bat an eyelash. So she's just giving a sheltered, coddled kid a little bit of something to think about. Now, is that psychotic from pre-zombie apocalypse standards? I don't know.
My gut says yes. My gut says child abuse, but like mental child abuse, emotional abuse.
Tim also asked, do you think that Rick is vastly more interesting character from the Boy Scout of earlier seasons? I think Andrew Lincoln has also improved at least 200%. What do you think about that?
He's good.
I think Rick is definitely more interesting. And he wasn't always a Boy Scout. He's also a screaming psychopath. But this is a much more nuanced, interesting look for Rick.
Yeah, I think I said this a couple of episodes ago when they were first getting to Alexandria. Yeah, I like what Rick has become. I think it's far more interesting than just good guy Rick.
All right, final non-spoiler email. It's Sarah doing a deep dive into the kiss scene.
Oh, okay.
Because she is a Rickophile, and she wants to have Rick's babies.
All right.
So she watched this like the Zapruder film. She's wanting to talk about the music sound design. As Jesse and Judith approach Rick, the first thing I noticed sound-wise is a high-pitched, plinky instrument playing a lullaby. She looked it up. It's actually Away in a Manger, which is weird because it's not just any lullaby. It's a Christmas carol. But as I'm writing this, I'm thinking, I bet that was no accident. I wonder if the creators aren't going for a vibe of Jesse has Virgin Mary type radiant maternity. Because she also...
Radiant maternity? I don't even know what that means.
So I cut out a whole preceding multiple paragraphs of her talking about the visual of Jesse standing there with baby on hip, with a very modest but form-hugging dress that reveals all of her curves and her hips and her breasts, and Judith's hand is resting on her breast as like a very motherly, like earth matron, earth mother kind of role. So that's kind of all background. Now you're caught up. In any case, Away in a Manger sounds like it's coming from a music box or a baby's hanging mobile. It evokes a child's nursery imagery. Away in a Manger persists through the kiss, and after Jesse leaves the scene, it even continues as we cut to the next shot, which Deanna walks towards Sasha, asking her to join other guests in conversation. What I noticed on repeat viewings is that the kiss scene has another layer of sound. In addition to Away in the Manger, in addition to general background noise, I heard this only when I hooked up to the stereo with the volume way up.
Is it a deep 80s synth?
She's she's listening to this on 11, and she says there's an eerie, very low-pitched, almost sub-audible, sustained music/noise that I can only describe as roiling. This roiling noise persists through the kiss. It persists after Jesse leaves the frame. It persists during a post-kiss close-up on Rick, but the roiling cuts out immediately as the camera cuts to Deanna, even as other sounds such as Away in a Manger and a general background noise continue. I believe the roiling is there to work subconsciously, putting me in Rick's head where his thoughts and feelings are, well, roiling away. I think Rick's experienced a booze-addled mix of lust and desire, sensations long dormant in him. And while I doubt he's at the point where he's consciously thinking any of this out, here he is in a situation where the first object of his desire he's had in ages is not available. She quote-unquote belongs to someone else, and so just as his desire is reawakened, so is the knowledge that he has an obstacle keeping him from it. Pete/Dr. Trump/civility/humanity, what have you. I think Rick's predatory animal instinct is going to be reactivated. Up until this point, Rick's animal instinct has served to help him and his family survive. Now, for the first time, there's a suggestion that this same animal aggression could be used for taking instead of protecting.
Mm-hmm.
Jim, what do you think?
That is definitely a deep dive analysis of this scene, and I appreciate it. I thought it was cool. Those were things that I was not noticing during.
We need to
during
go
the
crank
watches.
that scene up to 11.
I guess so.
We'll hear the dull roar, the roiling.
And I think she brings it all back around to kind of the same points that we made, right? Where Rick, or at least I was worried about him potentially wanting to take Jesse, like he would take this place.
I think he still does.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think he does. That's a very dangerous thing in this community. I firmly believe that his group could take this place, especially as they walked into it. I wonder as they get more acclimated to it if his group is going to put up a stink if Rick tries to take this place and tries to take Jesse and all that shit. I imagine the rest of the group, who's acclimating pretty well, is not going to like that.
Yeah, can you imagine Rick just shooting a dude in cold blood in the streets?
Yeah. What would even his group think about that? Rick, why did you do that? Well, Jesse.
Yeah, she's kind of cute. She looked like an Earth mother.
She had a husband.
Did you guys
and
not
children.
hear? Did you guys not hear the lullaby in the background? What was I supposed to do?
But you're not paying attention to the low roiling. Come on, Rick.
The roiling in my head is just too loud to ignore.
So it's a volatile situation, and it's something I'm definitely interested in seeing more of as we go forward.
That's all we got. We got some spoiler stuff to consider in the spoiler section, as we are wont to do. If you'd like to add to our email heap, it's graduated to heap status. You can do so at watchingdead@baldmove.com. Get on our forums at forums.baldmove.com and participate in the show threads, or on facebook.com/baldmove, or you can get at Jim on Twitter. Make some funny ha-has.
Yep.
Keep up with the release schedule. It's
Make it quick, though. 140 characters.
140 characters. Tweet longer, whatever. Twit longer is more like it. There you go.
That's it.
Spoiler section. Ahoy.
Yeah, we'll be back right after next week's episode with the Instant Cast, unless you're sticking around for spoilers. And until then, I'm Jim.
I'm Aaron.
And we're back with the spoiler section. What do we have this week?
Spoilers. I thought there was a funny kind of foreshadowing for us comic book fans when Deanna's talking about rebuilding society, and she's like, well, maybe it's just with horses and mills, but it's something. We all know from reading the comic books that's exactly what happens.
All right. So Daryl catches a bunch of horses, and
well, Daryl doesn't live in the comic books. Number one,
okay.
But number two, yes, they use horses as steeds, and their big community project is a grain mill, so they can start baking bread and shit again.
Are they plowing the land and
plowing the land, tending the fields.
All right. Well, they got to catch the horses
goats
first, because apparently Aaron is no good at it.
Well, it's something we figured out tens of thousands of years ago. I'm pretty sure we'll figure it out again.
Daryl already knows it.
He's the horse whisperer. Also, I backed away from my bold predictions that Daryl will die, and there's a lot of things to talk about here, but there's a character in a comic book called Jesus, who is called that because he looks like most Judeo-Christian depictions of Jesus. He has long hair and all that stuff, and he's also a very good dude. And he is kind of a badass. He's a fan favorite badass because he's all about this Parkour Krav Maga combat style. I kind of I'm starting to get the sense that they're going to roll Daryl into that role. And like, why would you kill a fan favorite just to introduce another fan favorite who's essentially the same guy?
Okay. I don't know anything about Jesus in the comics. What is his role?
You need Jesus, number one.
I need to find Jesus.
His role is he is kind of like, I don't know, your general purpose badass. He goes.
Is he a member of Alexandria?
I think he's a member of the Hilltop.
Okay.
If I'm remembering correctly, but he's kind of like a field scout / recruiter / whatever, general badass, strike leader, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Kind of what they're making Daryl to be out. Here's one argument. Norman Reedus is going to, next time I don't know when they do it, but the next time they sign contracts, he's going to want to get paid, right?
I hope so, yeah.
You could kill him and then reintroduce Jesus as essentially the same character at a steep discount.
You could, but then you got to rebuild a character who is one of the most beloved characters on the show. And most interesting characters.
Yeah, AMC's want to be penny pinching is...
You're right. Never
that's one thing we didn't talk about the main cast because it just kind of broke news lately is that we've got a summer release for the Walking Dead spinoff, and they've already ordered it from pilot to 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Similar to like the Better Call Saul treatment. And there was a lot of talk about on the last podcast where AMC was kind of playing hardball with them. So I don't know how I don't know. What are you thinking about the new series? Are you excited for it? Because honestly, I can't honestly say I'm excited for it. Not having anything like, do I want more Walking Dead in my life? My first thought is no, I do not.
Yeah, like if you're pressing the reset button and telling me that you're going to make what I can only assume is a less good version of The Walking Dead.
Well, but so why do we think that? Because one of the things we've bitched about is...
They put their fucking A-team on Walking Dead, right? Like, they're not going to leave... they're not going to send a bunch of writers over to this other show and say, well, we got to replace them with some okay writers. That would ruin what's good about the show, I feel like.
The writing staff?
No, granted.
I was like, that's a scary thought that they dilute the writing pool.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, they've got to keep the good stuff that they've got going on The Walking Dead going.
Alternatively, they split it up and just dilute the both equally.
Oh, God. Well, then that makes... that doesn't interest me at all.
Okay.
Like, I don't want to see 2 subpar versions of The Walking Dead. I want to see The Walking Dead and then some other more interesting take on this world. Because I can't imagine creating another group of characters from scratch and saying they're in the same world, they're in the same scenarios, but we think you're going to care about them too. Because I'm not going to. I've seen it once in Walking Dead. Why do I want to see it again?
I'll tell you.
Unless it's very different.
One of the things that we have bemoaned is the fact that we never saw the fall of civilization. Okay. This show, from what I've heard early in the press, is intended, and of course it's weird that they're going to order this as series and they're going to have it out by summer, which I guess could be August, could be July, who knows. Usually for this kind of stuff, it means June, July. That's pretty aggressive if they only have a pilot to shoot. I guess they need 7 more episodes. Never mind. I withdraw that.
I wonder if they could be subverting Kirkman in a way. Like maybe Kirkman's got too much control and say over this and doesn't want to do CDC type stuff, but they want to get back to some of that stuff. And so
this is a way
they're going to give you a different showrunner, different show.
Yeah.
And really explore the things that they have no desire to explore in Walking Dead in that show.
I mean, honestly, the fall of civilization, I think, is interesting. Now, one thing that I'm on guard for is I think it's hokey, the idea that like the zombie apocalypse just spreads. And I don't, it's like there's very limited... The mechanics of it, every time I try to read serious takes on how the zombie apocalypse could actually occur, whether it's World War Z, whether it's the survival handbook, whatever... It always feels stupid to me. Like, I'm interested in the stories, but when I see how the stories arise, I'm like, that can't happen. That fucking can't happen. One zombie gets drugged behind the lines and a whole company of Marines, and now suddenly all the Marines are zombies. What the fuck?
Yeah,
the Marines suddenly lost the ability to deal with an unarmed combatant.
Yeah, I don't know about like the military being infested by zombies. It's probably gonna happen just because in a war people are gonna die.
But it's like, do you want to see the first 15 minutes of every George Romero zombie film stretched out over 2 or 3 seasons?
I've seen it so many times that
Right.
probably no.
Right. So that is my big I mean, on one hand, I'm fascinated. I think I would like to see more of that. But second hand, I'm not sure how mechanically it's going to hang together. And I've also seen it not particularly done well, but I've seen it enough that it's like it feels like it's going to kind of be old hat. I have a lot of concerns, and we'll have to see the trailers, and we'll have to see who's running it and all that stuff. But 3 years ago, I know we said it would be a day one cover. I can't make that promise now.
No, I'm not going to make any promises on it.
Like if True Detective and Fargo and The Leftovers are dropping right there, fuck the spinoff. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
All right. Matt from Daly, California said, you guys have given some predictions of good actors to play Negan if the writers decide to go the route of including him in the television show. But I don't think you've mentioned one particular actor, Dominic West. Do you know Dominic West?
Yeah, McNulty from The Wire, yeah.
The Walking Dead seems to like to use former actors from The Wire, and the actor known for his role as Jimmy McNulty would be perfect. West has also played the part of villains in other roles, such as Theron from 300 and Jigsaw from Punisher: The War Zone. I could see West playing the manic role of Negan. Thoughts? I think Jimmy McNulty is kind of an asshole.
Sure, yeah.
Like, you just need Negan to be a maniacal asshole. Can he play that role? Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
Why not?
He's a little more refined than my vision of Negan, but what the hell?
Okay.
Dan from Manchester, England said, following on your conversation last week about Morgan potentially being Negan, I think a more plausible theory or route that they could take is that Morgan could turn out to be the TV version of Dwight Schrute, of course, he's speaking. It'd be a bit weird if they stuck with the original version of Dwight from the comics, since Daryl is based on this character so much. If Morgan did take on the role of Negan's right-hand man and then found out that Rick was at Alexandria, it would still create conflict, the kind of conflict that Dwight and Negan had, and give Rick a guy on the inside of the Saviors. Not sure how they fit it in timeline-wise, but when has it ever stopped them from doing something before? Are you familiar with Dwight?
No, not at all.
Dwight is, as they say, Negan's second-hand man who is conflicted because he sees Negan as being an asshole. Negan has this penchant for taking other men's wives, and if the men have any problem with it, he burns their face with an iron.
Are we sure that Rick's not going to become Negan?
That would be super interesting, and a way to
maybe they're just borrowing a trait from Negan.
No, I think it's
taking
more of a
the other
Shane
man's
echo.
wife.
I like Yardley's comment that the lobes are strong with Shane or with Rick right now.
Yeah.
All
right. Yeah, I don't know anything about Dwight, but
so they would have to figure out a way to come up with conflict between from his right-hand man and Negan. So if Morgan was that and he found out about Rick, but Morgan is a wild card.
He is really, yeah.
He's crazy, but not the type of crazy with the run with Negan.
Yeah, he's crazy in the way that he's going to do his own thing, kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Not be anybody's second-hand man.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, Edwin C. Said, first I want to mention a few trivia facts that I learned that were mildly interesting. One is Negan was never supposed to exist in the comics. Instead, Rick was supposed to kill Glenn when confronted with an issue of saving him or someone else. Kirkman decided to scrap this, and Negan was born. Also, Alexandria is filmed in the same city as Woodbury and can be noticed if you look carefully during the show. That, I think, is fascinating because I did not get a Sonoya vibe from Alexandria at all. And also, I thought Alexandria was built as a dedicated set. I thought I saw construction photos. I don't know where you're getting this information, Edwin, and I'm not doubting you, but I would say citation needed.
So, I mean, maybe it's possible that those pictures were coming from Richmond.
Man, it didn't look like Richmond either. I mean,
you
remember those?
Yeah, I do.
But also, you're right, because it was more like apartment complexes with walls around them.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And it could also be an apartment complex or whatever in Sonoya. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. Sonoya is a good place for them to shoot because they have a lot of relationships there.
And also be good for the town.
Good for the community. They want their tax breaks in Georgia, that kind of stuff.
They definitely seem like they're very embraced their role as stage set for Walking Dead. So them getting another bite at that apple, I'd be happy for them.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm waiting for the spinoff to shoot in Georgia. Set in Los Angeles, shooting in Georgia. I don't know how you make that work.
Hey, if they can film Justified in L.A., then for damn sure Georgia can pass for Los Angeles.
Yep.
This episode had comic references all over. I mentioned a few, but with it, a bit of the Kirkman remix added to it. The only one that stays true to the comic is Michonne hanging up her katana. This is almost exactly as she does in the comics, thinking she's finally seen the last of the days and she will no longer have to use it. Except in the comics, she has a flashback to all the times she's had to use it. That's hard to do. As she's hanging up, she's seeing... Well, actually, that's very easy to do.
Yeah, just show the flashbacks.
Damn it, Kirkman, what the hell? The next reference was Buttons the horse. In the comics, Buttons is a horse Maggie owns from her farm, which she brings with her to the prison and then on to Alexandria. From that point, Aaron uses Buttons, but also during confrontation, he is stolen and his current whereabouts are unknown. Carol,
so it's a... Okay, I like that twist.
Yeah.
I like the twist that Buttons is at Alexandria, but he just gets fucking eaten.
Mm-hmm.
Like right off the bat.
No, I like that's the kind of
like comic books readers are going, oh, Buttons.
Yeah,
they're going to catch Buttons. He's going to be Aaron's. Nope.
From that point forward, or wait a second. Carol unlocking the window is also out of the comics, except this mission is pulled off by Glenn and Daryl refusing the gun at the end is performed by Andrea. The rest of the references are interesting as they all involve Sasha, but she's not a character in the comics, so they're all performed by someone else. She's obviously taken the role of Andrea now from the comics as she asked to become the sniper in the tower, which was Andrea's job, and also seems to have caught the eye of Spencer, who she has a brief relationship with. I thought Aiden had taken the place of Spencer, but in another Kirkman remix, he gave Deanna an extra son as Aiden doesn't exist in the comics. The last reference is Sasha's freak out at the party. This is right out of the comics, except it's performed by Michonne. He has a prediction for the rest of the season. Whoa, I lost my place here. I think the rest of the season will lead up to the aftermath of Rick gaining complete power in Alexandria. In the comics, after Regina, who is Reg in the comic, or in the series, we talked about Douglas being the mayor, Regina being his wife. Here we've got Deanna, the mayor, and Reg as her husband. After Reg/Regina is killed, Douglas orders Rick to kill Peter, which is Dr. Trump in the series, and he does so. The gunshot is heard by a group called DC Scavengers, who then find and attack Alexandria in an all-out effort to take it.
The wolves.
Exactly. I think this will be another Kirkman remix, as we saw the zombie in the episode with the W on his forehead, and then back at Noah's camp, someone tagged the wall with the wolves are near. The gunshots from this fight are heard by an enormous herd who arrived at Alexandria and knocked down the walls and entered the city.
Yeah.
Rick tries to leave by doing the cover yourself in zombie guts routine, but it fails, and he and the group he is with find themselves fighting off zombies. Douglas, who is Deanna in the show, sees this and tries to help by coming out of his house and shooting zombies, but he's also bit by one and loses control and fires a bullet right into Carl's head. Rick takes Carl to his doctor's house in Alexandria, and then he and Michonne return outside to continue fighting. The rest of the group sees this, and one by one, each person enters the fight until all the zombies are killed and Alexandria is reclaimed. This is where I don't know how far the show will go for its ending. In the aftermath of all this, it's Rick rebuilding Alexandria, so it's a force to be reckoned with, and soon after the arrival of Jesus. But like I said, I don't know how far they can go, as this is a lot to do with only 3 episodes left.
Oh, yeah.
So, I feel like they are definitely setting an arc where Alexandria will be penetrated by zombie/human attackers and have to swallow a bag of cement and get hard.
Yes, please. I want to see a giant wave of walkers.
Is that something they can fit in these final 3 episodes?
I feel like one of these episodes has to be Rick dealing with Dr. Trump.
Yep. And that's almost a whole episode by itself.
Yes, with, side plots. Maybe the very last episode we could get to that, and that would be a shit show, just killing people left and right. And...
I was thinking there's one more thing of domestic thing, which is Reg is going to get killed trying to intervene in between a possible Jesse/Peter/Dr. Trump fight.
Damn.
Rick has to break it up, and Rick has to execute this guy.
So Dr. Trump and Reg are going to fight, and Rick is going to break it up?
No. So I guess what I think is going to happen is Dr. Trump is going to be slapping around Jesse.
Okay.
Reg is going to try to jump in there. He's going to try to be the wall.
He's going to get his ass kicked.
He's going to get his ass probably killed.
Yeah.
And then Rick is going to have to pass judgment on Peters, which is interesting because he is already coveting his neighbor's wife.
Sure, it's a pretty easy decision for him.
Right. So then the second episode, could you fit in a full-scale invasion by the wolves, and that's a full onslaught episode, followed by a third episode where the herd breaks through? That's a lot of fucking budget. Now,
it is
the devil's advocate, because remember, we had a rockin' season finale, season opener to start off this with the Terminus thing, and then we had a whole bunch of string of bullshit. We've had a string of bullshit, and this has been pretty awesome, but low budget low budget.
Oh yeah,
could they be saving up for 2 just giant set piece episodes, one after another? Drop the mic, and then we're like ready to rebuild Alexandria next season.
I hope so.
It feels like a lot for this show to get in for 3 episodes, though.
You know how long I've been asking for a herd of walkers to come
push down the cold rolled steel.
Yeah, man.
Push down. Carlos from New York City said, for a while now I've been reading or wondering as the group has moved to Alexandria and are going further into the comics, what will remain the same and what will get the Kirkman remix treatment. Of the important plot points that I've been wondering about most is the gunshot to Carl's eye and whether or not they're going to have the balls to do this on AMC to a child. And now I know they've been willing to have...
Wait. Child is not the protective safety net that it is on other series, honestly.
Yes, but blowing half his face off is a little different than look at the flowers and...
pants shooting
you off camera.
Yeah, but pants shitting terror from last episode for this child. It's
not the same thing.
I don't feel like children are safe. I don't feel like main characters are safe. That's one thing they've done a really good job, at least for me, is saying nobody's safe here, except for Rick.
So now they have been willing to have a character's eye removed in a grisly manner previously with the governor, and the only reason I think they wouldn't do it similarly is because Carl walks around with his eye uncovered for a ridiculous amount of time.
Asshole.
In the comics, and you can almost clearly see through his head from the wound. Yet he eventually covers his eye socket, but sometimes it is uncovered, most famously when Negan has Carl captured. If my memory serves correctly, he even threatens to fuck Carl's eye socket. That will happen on AMC, I can almost guarantee.
Yep.
I just don't see the writers of this show letting things go that far after watching this last episode. I thought another possibility we missed a period there. I don't think the show will let things go that far. After watching the last episode, I thought of another possibility that could tie up some loose ends and have the characters avoiding having to deal with the cost of CGIing a hole through Chandler's head. One thing I want to put in here is if you've seen Boardwalk Empire, the character of... I just gone blank. Jack Houston is what I want to say. Richard
Harrow. Yes.
Boom.
There you go.
Jesus. They did a great job at once a season they'd show us the full horrifying visage of him. The rest of it was covered by almost entirely by a tin mask.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that they could get away with. I don't think it's objectionable for him to suffer a grievous wound. Because he's kind of like a middle teenager at this point, not exactly a child. And 2, they could most of the time cover it up with the hat and a massive bandage / eye patch, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal. And I think it'd be kind of cool.
What if they shot Sam in the face?
Sure, fine. What if Carol shoots Sam in the face?
Well, I don't know.
Where are you going with that? Because
I'm saying it'd be very easy to shoot a more minor character in the face. Not have to worry about the CG stuff so much. Not like I don't know how much does that affect Carl? That's gonna affect Carl a lot.
Yeah,
as much as cutting off Rick's hand. Is that something Kirkman is okay with?
It doesn't affect. No, I mean, I guess it affects him character wise, but like from an able-bodied standpoint, he makes a full recovery.
Really?
Yeah.
No depth perception problems.
Well, maybe. I mean, obviously, but Nick Fury does all right. Anyway, he says, I've got an alternative thing here going on. He says, Carl accidentally gets shot during a walker attack on Alexander right after Rick has to chop off Jesse's arm to free Carl from being eaten by the same horde that's feasting on her. What if they replace Carl with little baby ass kicker?
Shoot off half her face.
We then lose the dead weight of Judith. Carl gets to save his eye. It makes for a traumatic experience for all involved.
Mm-hmm.
By this time, we could showcase the baby a little more so that there's some emotional connection with her and the viewers. I don't think you need to, man. Blowing a baby's face off is going to peg the viewer involvement.
I wasn't invested in this baby. enough to really feel the effect of blowing its face off.
Yeah, that's going to get people, I think. That's going to get people.
I'm with you, man.
Right in the heartstrings. Oh, Jesus. How do I get through here? Carl could then become reclusive after losing his little sister. Fine, like that. Could be part of the catalyst for him single-handedly attacking the Saviors. It's a stretch, and for all I know, they're going to give him the situation, the Rick's hands treatment just to avoid the trouble altogether, though I think this could definitely be an interesting alternative. I'm a big fan, as much shit as I get for saying this, I'm a big fan of Baby Ass Kicker going the way of the dodo.
Yeah.
Because I don't see how this ends up any other way than the fucking Full House of the Apocalypse. I'm not a big fan of that. However, I think you overestimate how much time it takes to put a band. I feel like that Carl's makeup job could be fairly rudimentary. It's a little bit of facial scarring and a hat and a patch.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even actually that hard to just slap a green screen on the kid and do one pass where you make the model for it, and then you're done.
You might do one per season of showing him in his full disgusting glory. Yeah, but that's very doable with the budget this show's got, and and look at what Nicotero is able to do, just practically. Mm-hmm. Anyway, thanks for the email. Moving on to Harry P. said, last one, by the way. In the comics, Carl's worried about getting weak in Alexander and is reluctant to accept his new way of life. However, in the TV series, Daryl seems to be playing out the reluctant storyline. I think the season will end not with Carol, but Daryl getting shot in the face. This is the theory of the Carl face edition mailbag.
Apparently so.
We all know the show can't kill Daryl for a while at least. This way we could spend all off-season wondering if he's dead. It would definitely help him not seem so untouchable. And while Carl has long hair all ready to cover a head wound, I think Daryl has even better hair for head wound covering. It's been covering that eye for 2 seasons now anyway. Eye wound Daryl would also be so fucking badass. Out of all these possibilities, which is your favorite one? Daryl getting the eye socket blown out treatment?
Judith?
Yeah.
Just blast Judith's head off. I think that would be the funniest. No, I think, with Daryl's hair, man, it makes perfect sense.
Oh, man.
Just cover it up.
Yeah, I get so much shit every time I advocate for baby Judith to get killed.
Why? I've been waiting for Zombaby anyway. What does it matter if its head is blown off?
I don't know. Maybe you're too far of a crazy man, too far gone to bother sending hate mail too. But it's all like, I can't believe you're suggesting that they kill a baby. Well, there, I just suggested it.
All right.
Off screen can be off. It can be look at the flowers, baby Judith. But yeah. I don't think AMC has the wherewithal to blow a child, a baby's head off.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that is a bridge too far.
Well, they threatened it with her getting her neck snapped. I don't know where to calibrate my morality with this show.
That's good. That's a good thing.
Okay.
It keeps you on your toes, keeps you guessing.
Sure.
I think that's a fine thing for this show to do.
All right. That's a podcast, man.
Yeah, it is. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Of course, we'll be back next week after the show. And during the show, we do live watches if anybody's interested.
Yeah.
And you can get that as a Club Bald Move member. Until then, I'm Jim.
I'm Aaron. See ya.